Hey guys, Dantix here bringing you some more Starfield news. Bethesda have placed all Starfield's pre-order bonuses and early access details on their website, which we'll be going through, as well as breaking down the thoughts of someone who got to play the game for an hour, the lucky dog. We'll talk about scale, we'll talk about alien races, space combat and more. If you're interested in Starfield, you're in the best place, so be sure to sub and hit that bell. The 3080 is still around for a lucky winner, along with copies of Starfield, so stick around until the end to find out how to win. Let's begin. Ryan McAfee got to play an hour of Starfield from the very beginning of the game, from pressing start and seeing what us normal plebs would see if we boot up the game. I believe he's the only person in the world outside of a select few that got to play it, and he laid down some pretty interesting information to dive into. Destin Legary asked a question that matters the most though: was Starfield good? Ryan responded with the point that 1 hour was not enough and the scale and scope of the game was insane. He thinks people are going to be playing this game for, and I quote, actual years. No joke. This was playing on an Xbox Series X, so Xbox owners, you might be just fine. PC owners, if Xbox players are fine, then your build surely can play it better, right? Ryan mentioned he didn't linger on the character creation screen as he knew he only had 1 hour, but he mentioned there's a ton of backgrounds and traits to choose from, which we've seen, so he got past the start of the game and didn't get to experience the story mission start to finish. He was, according to himself, jumping around, probably in an effort to experience as much as he could in a short time. He clarifies, as people strangely still ask, that this is a traditional single-player game with no multiplayer or co-op. It'll live on at least as long as Skyrim has, given the content. He seems very confident that this is the game that will outdo, or at least match Skyrim in its lifespan. That's a big call given that Skyrim is now 12 years old and people are still playing it. In regards to the claim that the game has over 1,000 planets to explore, Ryan... excitement doesn't get sick, huh? Ryan only got to complete the start of the game, engage in a bit of space combat, scan a few planets, then visit New Atlantis. He asked Todd how many are handcrafted versus procedurally generated, and Todd said that most everything is procedurally generated with handcrafted content placed on top of that. I go through how it works in my obscure facts video if you're interested, but this makes sense given the scope. They built the system so everything would work together and be fun. People hear procedural or randomly generated and immediately recoil. The truth is the handcrafted content is everywhere, and the procedural stuff will just make it fresh and make your playthrough different each time while giving your friends something different to experience. When asked if you need to be an astronaut at all times, Ryan answered by saying he believes that there will be people out there that never finish the main story. There are so many things you can do that they'll go off and be entertained by just living, crewing a ship and more. There's so many other things to do that people will just say, yeah, I played for 300 hours and haven't finished the main campaign. Now that was what he said, and I'm not sure how he got that kind of scope from just an hour of playtime, but to be so confident in the way he talks about the game gives me hope. I think from what we saw of the direct, the one thing we can't say is that Starfield lacks features. Ryan mentioned he docked with a big freighter ship and it had some problem with the gravity core, so every now and then the lights would flicker and the gravity would turn off. Like we saw in the direct, if you have a ballistic weapon, you'll be propelled backwards, but then the gravity would come back and you drop to the floor. This added some variance to what should have been a simple dock meet and greet. No doubt, little events like this will spring up all over the game, which I imagine is where Bethesda has invested a lot of their effort. When asked if he got any cool dialogue options, Ryan talks about pacifist options and if it's viable. He gave an example that at the start, you get a weapon, but you don't have to pick it up. You get attacked, and he doesn't know how far you get with just the sweet talking options, but the mechanics are there and in place to let you play that way. We've seen it in the direct that you can talk your way through situations, and also there are skills and traits that let you focus on your crew and focus on sweet talking, so no doubt you'll be able to get through the game without firing a shot. At one point during his play session, he ran out of ammo, and he found it satisfying to run up to enemies and strike them with the axe he had, so that both means that ammo isn't as plentiful as it seemed in the direct, and that melee combat feels alright, both points being comforting. We know just how jank melee can feel in Bethesda titles. If he had to give a quick Twitter summary, he would say that Starfield is like No Man's Sky with a whole Bethesda RPG built on top of it. Or to rephrase, No Man's Sky 2, because if you wanted a sequel, you'd want the story and characters and all of those things. Ryan, when asked about intelligent alien races, said he didn't recall if he saw any non-humans, not to say that there aren't any. There's alien wildlife, but he isn't sure if there's non-human races. I remember hearing a Todd interview a while ago that suggested that there wasn't going to be, so it doesn't seem like there would be, in my opinion, at least not any that aren't major story discoveries. It seems humans dominate this part of the galaxy in Starfield. When asked about mounts, he didn't see anything to do with it in his short playtime. We aren't even sure if you can tame pets, but it would be amazing if you could. Based on the sheer vastness of features, I wouldn't be surprised at all. At the very least, modders will step in to pick up the slack. Ryan mentioned that all the little pieces of the game feel fleshed out. He gave an example of space combat, that he was worried that it would feel like Mass Effect's resource scanning, where it's amusing the first time and gets tiresome after a while. But it feels like in Starfield you can really play your way, and things like spending time in space is something you can do entirely on its own and ignore the rest. As someone who plans to do a lot of space combat and smuggling, this is music to my ears. The highlight for him was New Atlantis, which is what he was hoping for. It had a Mass Effect meets Oblivion vibe, the main capital Imperial city that is. There are tons of NPCs around and you can talk to all of them. Some of them are like, oh, I don't have anything to say, but you can talk to them. There's multiple districts and you can get around by using a subway system. Again, he emphasizes that he'll be spending dozens of hours just in the city. I both love and hate this, as I love just getting right into the meat of a game, but the collectionist in me needs to fully explore a city and talk to all its NPCs. I have a feeling I'll be 10 hours in and I'll be still stuck there. Granted, 2 of those hours will be in the character creator. Now, from the official website, we're going to look at Starfield's pre-order bonus and early access details. Pre-order any edition of Starfield to receive the Old Mars skin pack for these in-game items, Laser Cutter Deep Mining Helmet, and the Deep Mining Pack. Game Pass members also get access to all pre-order content as long as their Game Pass subscription is active, regardless of when they download the game. So these are simply skins. You don't get any special items that aid you in the game, so I don't think you absolutely must pre-order, else you'll miss out on some specially statted gear. What really makes the difference is the version of game you buy. The standard edition gives you the base game, so start playing on September the 6th. The standard edition is included with Xbox Game Pass if Xbox owners want to jump in and play without having to buy. Pre-order bonuses included. Then we have the digital premium edition. It comes with the base game, of course, but also comes with 5 days early access. This is the most interesting part to me, as many people, myself included, can't wait to jump in and start playing. 5 days is a long time, and any version besides the standard get that early start. This version also gets access to the Shattered Space Story expansion. Now, I've mentioned that Todd wanted to make an expansion to the game before, but it wanted to be story-based. It's unclear if this will be a continuation of the story after its endpoint, or just some side content like Far Harbor. However, the expansion is not made yet, you're simply reserving access to it. You also get some more skins, specifically modeled around the Constellation faction. Nothing I saw about the faction or seeing that picture is particularly cool, so I wouldn't pick up the deluxe edition for this. Finally, you get access to the digital art book and original soundtrack. The art and sounds of Starfield are beautiful, so this is a nice bonus. Then if you have the base version, which obviously comes with all the extras contained within. Then if you already bought the standard edition of the game, you can buy the physical premium edition upgrade. It includes the Shattered Space Story expansion upon release, up to 5 days early access, Constellation skin pack, access to Starfield's digital art book and original soundtrack, the Steelbook display case when purchased from participating retail stores, and the Constellation patch when also purchasing from participating retail stores. Notice that this doesn't include the actual game, you'll have need to have bought that separately. Finally, we have the Starfield Constellation Edition. This only comes in a physical version and comes with everything the other editions have, plus a credit stick with a laser-etched game code and a Starfield Chronomark watch and case, the same we saw during the showcase. As far as I can see, this version is sold out everywhere, so I won't linger on this to rub salt in the wound if it's something you wanted. It seems to me like the standard edition is fine for most people unless they absolutely have to play 5 days early. And that's all the new information I have for you today. What do you think? Let me know below. I recently upgraded to a 4090, so why not give away my 3080 and a few copies of Starfield? If you want to be in the running, all you need to do is be subscribed, hit the bell, and like and comment on my Starfield videos. For more entries, do the same on other Starfield videos or check out my Twitter and Discord. The winner will be chosen using RNG, so more entries give you more chances. Best of luck and thank you so much for watching. I'll be covering the game more than anyone else, so be sure to stay tuned. Ciao friends.